So Aquaculture New Zealand is the sector organisation that represents the whole of the aquaculture industry. Currently we have around about 650 members, covering most of the major species in New Zealand, which is the green shell mussels, Pacific oysters and New Zealand king salmon. So the strategy was launched in 2006 and its goal is to achieve a turnover of $1 billion per annum by 2025. And the strategy really has a range of components to it, but it boils down to three in essence. The first of those is focusing on getting a regulatory environment that promotes growth. The second is focused on sustainability and market development, and the third is focused on research and development. And it's innovation and research and development that's really going to drive that growth. Currently, the aquaculture sector is predominantly a shellfish-based industry. Two of our species are both shellfish. They will continue to be an important part of the sector, but into the future, more and more we're going to see investment in finfish, both the finfish that we currently grow and future developments as well. So having facilities that can grow out finfish will become increasingly important, and that's where Huarangi and projects like that come in. Huarangi fits very closely within the research strategy that Aquaculture New Zealand has put together. The critical part of the strategy is that it needs to be driven by industry with the close involvement of research providers, and Huarangi is that kind of a project. To grow, increasingly we're going to need to see investment in R&D, and that R&D is going to need to come in a range of ways, and Huarangi allows for that kind of R&D. Aquaculture New Zealand applauds projects like Huarangi because only by investing significant amounts of money over time are we going to see the sort of innovation that we're going to need for that growth going into 2025. Māori form one of the cornerstones of aquaculture in New Zealand. Not only are they already currently around about 1/3 of the sector, going forward into the future we're talking about 20% of all aquaculture development going to iwi. That's a very significant part of the aquaculture sector. Aquaculture New Zealand puts a lot of emphasis on the involvement of iwi, and you can see that through the fact that we have an iwi representative and a representative from Te Hau Kaimoana on our board. One of the attractions of the Huarangi project is that it is driven by a Māori-owned company, and we think that that is an extra dimension that this project brings to the sector.